Hey, how are we today? So, I've made a bit of progress. I've been away for 3 weeks at work. So it's been a while since I did any recording and managed to do anything on my bike. The only thing I was able to do was just do a little bit more research, try and look at the slightly older models of the KTM Enduro R. So what I found, in my last videos, what I found was that the bracing, the rear fuel tank bracing brackets weren't right. Naively, I just assumed that the ones that came with the 701 would fit straight into the rally tank, and that's definitely not the case. What I did, I just quickly went on eBay. I thought I'll find myself a set of just used second-hand ones. I think they came from a 2008 model Enduro R. So I've got those. I've fitted those up. They fit perfectly as they should. The 450 Rally has a very similar frame. So obviously there are slight differences with the way that the suspension connects, the rear shock connects to the frame and so forth. But it's a very similar layout anyway. So I've had to do slight modifications to the frame, which I was pretty reluctant to do considering it's a brand new bike. Brand new frame is always a bit hesitant to take your grinder out to it. So a bit nerve-wracking, but hey, everything can be repaired. So I'll just quickly show you what I've done and what I've got, what I'm left with, and we'll go from there. So whilst I was away, I had some new parts come in as well, so I'll show you those. Let's just show you. So first of all, I'll show you the 2008 brackets from the KTM Enduro compared to the 701, and also so the 701 brackets, obviously because it's hasn't been out as long. 701 brackets are the same as the 2019 to nowadays version of the Enduro R. So this is exactly the same, or very similar tank anyway, but the brackets are exactly the same for the 2019 onwards KTM Enduro, as well as the same as the 701 Enduro. So I'll just show you those. So this is the 701, and as I showed you before, that the brackets they weren't quite right, so they needed this area here needed to be lower down, as you can see from the 2008 version. So what I've got to do with the older style ones is I do have to just chop off this area here, because I'm not going to be using that, because this section here interferes with the new seat. So obviously I'll just show you again. Just move this tank around. Take these out. So just show you again. So with the old, with the 701 brackets, it just doesn't line up. So the bolt holes of the two rear bolt holes are very similar, but they're just not quite right. And then obviously the top mounting bracing there just doesn't work. And also what you've got here is the tab that holds the ECU. It sits too proud of the tank. So then when the ECU's on there, it interferes. With the seat. Just wait for the B-man to go. So sorry about that. Bit of noise. Been day today. So yeah, so obviously this is their 2008. So the rear holes, everything lines up perfectly basically. So yeah, so that just sits straight in there. Yeah, so I did obviously, you know, like I said in the previous video, I did say that I was gonna design up my own, and I did, and they fit perfectly as well. But it was a little bit of a mishmash. I'll just grab one. Grab both. So it was a bit of a mishmash because obviously I didn't really quite know what I needed. So yeah, so this is obviously the same side as the one I've just showed you. So yeah, so as you can see, the one that I drew up, just, you know, on Fusion 360 there, and 3D printed it out myself. Yeah, it worked. It fits perfectly. It, you know, mostly did exactly what I needed it to do, but you know, I added on this tab thinking, you know, that's what I needed for the ECU, and it isn't. So I've got a slightly different plan, or not different plan. Is I have a slight problem. Just wait for the bin to go. Okay, so what I've got, obviously I have sorry, you'll have to excuse the mess in the garage, you know, obviously, yeah, that's all I've got. So anyway, so I do have a slight issue which I'm trying to resolve. So obviously my battery tray goes in like so, and I'll just put one screw in just to hold it in place quickly, just loosely. The issue that I've got is that with the ECU being on top, you know, as it should be, you know, on all of the bikes. So what I've got is that with this battery, which sits like so, when the ECU sits on top, it still sits way too high. So I've got probably two things I could do. One is, which is probably the easiest. One is probably I'm gonna look for a slightly smaller battery. I have found one, and it's around, I think it's around 10 millimeters lower. It's also, you know, it's a bit more compact. It's a lithium ion as well, which is a lot lighter. The cold cranking amps, it's a bit down on the cold cranking amps, but I can live with that. That's not, you know, it's not a major issue, to be honest. So yeah, so if I can reduce this by 10 millimeters, and then I may be able to get the ECU on top. If not, so my plan is to possibly relocate the ECU, which I don't think is a big deal. So the biggest problem I've come up against so far is finding the correct connectors for the ECU. I think I found them. I'm pretty certain I've found the larger one anyway, but it's the smaller one that is proving to be a bit elusive. This, I think it's 36 pin for that smaller one there. The female side, so I can get the male, that's not a problem. It's the female side that is proving to be a bit difficult to find. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, so that's possibly my other plan is to relocate the ECU, and I'll just show you where I think I could probably get it. I'll probably have to design up my own bracket, and then I'll just 3D print that out of something like you know, like a nylon carbon fibre or something like that. which is pretty durable. I've used it on quite a bit of stuff. So yeah, so I'll just show you where I think the ECU might go. So yeah, with the brackets in there, obviously they come up this end. There's a little tab that's, you know, around here. So anyway, I think the ECU might have to try and, I'm not sure which way. I think it might be that way. So what I'll do, I'll possibly put the ECU so it sits underneath the tabs on the bracket there. 2 seconds. So, just put this in here, just put this bracket on loosely, yeah, and I'll just put the tray back in. Actually, I'll do both sides. You can kind of see what I mean. Okay, so alright, so I'll put the battery tray back in, which is just the, you know, the standard 701 battery tray, or at least the 2021 anyway, but yeah, it fits exactly the same. What I'll do, I'll just pop in the battery where it should go roughly. Obviously it's loose. Yeah, so what I was saying about these two tabs, obviously they sit there. There's a plate that sits across the battery, holds the ECU, and yeah, and obviously holds the battery down, and then comes down and fixes into place in these two tabs here. So yeah, so what I'm thinking of is probably just at least getting rid of the rubber. So what I'm thinking of is just having the ECU drop down in there. Yeah, try and make some sort of you know, bracket up, or you know, some sort of holder for the ECU there, so it doesn't obviously rattle around. There should be enough room there for where the rear shock, you know, comes about where my thumb is. The rear shock reservoir is around here, so I'm hoping there's enough space, but I will have a look at that. Okay, so also, yeah, like I say, I had a bit of a go on the frame as well, so I'll just show you those. So what I did is, yeah, so as you can see, so it's definitely not the prettiest job, but it does work. It does exactly what I need it to do. So on other kits, so like the guys that have used their kit 690, you know, that for their builds, what they've done is, you know, they put the tank straight in the bottom there. In the bottom tank, the tank bolts, they slid them straight through, and then, you know, they drop the tank into the top. So so yeah, as you can see, not the prettiest job, but it does exactly what I needed to do. So with other kits like the KTM, sorry, the kit 690 guys that have used that, so what they do is, from what I can tell, is they put the bottom of the tank in, put the bolt in, and then they swing the tank up, you know, up into position, and then they re-drill a hole up here, which I believe is probably about around this area, a little bit lower, which is okay, but for me, I'm, you know, I'm 6'2", and I struggle with yeah, my knees being cramped up, and you know, for me, it's, you know, it's going to be a long ride for the, you know, That's why I'm building it. It's going to be a long ride, so I need to make myself as comfortable as I can. So I've tried to keep the seat height as high as I can, really. So I've done it. I've made it a happy medium. So I haven't used the original. Bolt holes because it's either too high or it's too low. So I've had to go for a happy medium, as you can see. So obviously that's the new bolt hole that I've made, and obviously that's the original. So I don't think it, it's, like I say, it's not the best job, but I think it should be good. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna have, a bit of extra fuel in there, an extra 6 litres I think it is. So all the force is coming down, this way really, or pushing down more so on this end, and probably pulling this way. So I think there is enough meat there, I reckon, on there. Yeah, the only other option that I thought of is actually on the back side, or on the back side of this bracket, is copying this and then bolting in like some bracing, basically. I don't have I personally don't have any experience in chromoly welding or anything like that. I do have friends, but they don't have the equipment at home. So yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to have to live with. I think I will make up some brackets just out of some stainless, or probably stainless, to be honest. Hopefully, bit of anti-corrosion. So yeah, the other part, what I've had to do is where the other part of what I've had to do is, so if you've taken your 701 apart, I'm not sure if the 690s are the same. I don't know, but if you can see the tab on the right hand side panel, okay, so that slips into this area. You'll have to excuse the lighting. I'm trying not to use the lights above because it's a bit flickery. So yeah, so as you can see, that's where that slips into. So what I've done, I've had to grind that shape into it, and also bevel off the back of these to fit the new rear rally tank, because it's a slightly different shape. And there's just in the tank there's a slight there's a corner there, so I had to remove some material to make way for that, and also just take it past it as well, so it's not going to hit on it, it's not going to flex and hit on that and then cause a possible hole in the fuel tank. Hey, so yeah, so what I just did quickly was I looked at the brackets where I've modified them, and I wasn't too happy with them. So yeah, I just filed them back a little bit, just make them look a bit prettier, a bit neater. So and also what I've done, I've just put a bit of paint on them just to stop any rusting or any corrosion or anything like that. So yeah, just a quick one. So yeah, just black. I didn't bother going with the blue. You're not going to see it. That's why I've masked off the other side. Yeah, you're not going to see it. So yeah, hopefully that works, and hopefully keeps the rust at bay. So I'm going to modify those the rear tank bracing brackets. I'm just going to chop those lugs off that I don't need, and then once I've done that, I'll just give them a bit of a clean up, just because they haven't been cleaned since I got them. So I'll give them a bit of a clean up, bit of a spit and polish, and then I'll probably fit the tank up, because my main goal over the next couple of weeks is to get my exhaust sorted. So I will quickly show you what I've got for my exhaust so far. So yeah, so I'm just in my office at the moment, and I will show you what I've got for my exhaust. So I've been fairly busy. On my last break, I was fairly busy. I was, yeah, designing up and 3D printing the little slot together pieces for the exhaust. So here we are. So yeah. So yeah, so what I've done is I've 3D printed all my mandrel bands and my flanges, all different size, different lengths, and yeah, different lengths in the curvature, and just different lengths in general, so I can you know, piece it all together. So this one, obviously these parts. So that's the one that I bought from over east, over the eastern side of Australia, from a guy. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. But yeah, I didn't like the. So this section here sits just under the foot peg. So, and obviously this is where it connects, and it's, to be honest, it's a bit of a sloppy fit. You can see where the guy who's had it before is, you know, filled it with silicone or RTV. And also, obviously, I don't know if he's made it himself or it's been made up by someone. And anyway, it's just, I don't like the bend on this, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit fussy. Well, I know I am. I know I'm being a bit fussy, but at the same time, you know, I want to kind of do things myself, learn something new. So I've got a little bit of experience in TIG welding, but not a great deal. But got to learn something new, haven't you? Yeah. So I'm going to give it a go. I'll put that one on first, the one that I've bought. I'll put that on first to get an idea of where I want and need the rear silencer. To obviously match up with the tank there.